Hey there everyone, welcome back to Utility Sports, and in today's video we are actually doing a very fun thing here on Madden. Actually, it is going to be a live rebuild on the channel. I'm just setting up a few things here, so bear with me a little bit here in the beginning, just making sure that the stream is running well and everything, and that everything is up to speed the way that it needs to be. This is my first time streaming from this software that I am using, so we're trying to play around with it a little bit. So just have a little bit of patience while I get everything set up. I do appreciate it. And if you guys are new to Utility Sports, hit that subscribe button as well. We do have a jersey giveaway going on right now for Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears. Free jersey. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed, leave a like on today's video, and also leave a comment. It could be anything like jersey giveaway or something about the actual video itself here on Madden. We will be jumping into that here very, very soon, the actual rebuild itself. Check out some of the other videos on our channel too while I'm going through here and setting everything up right now. This is definitely not what it's supposed to be, so let me go ahead here. I have to edit the title, description, everything here because it is not what I want it to be. Denver Broncos 2022 or 2020 Denver Broncos Madden 2022 rebuild. Broncos trade for Deshaun Watson in hopes of a Super Bowl. Let's see here. Let's go ahead, go grab our description that we usually use. This is my first time using this, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the start here. Just bear with me just a little bit, of course. Very, very different. What's going on? Jamari, welcome to the stream. Love having you in here. You're one of our best subscribers, always watching the content. So do really appreciate you for that. Hopefully you're excited for some Madden Sim because we have never really done this live on the channel before. This is something completely new. We're giving it a try, and we want your feedback. If you don't like it, that's okay. Just let us know, and it'll be something that maybe we shy away from doing in the future. Still planning on doing all the normal stuff on the channel as well. This is just in addition to that. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the content that we have been posting as well. Of course, a lot of really fun stuff in my opinion. So I think that there is a lot of stuff that is going pretty well on the channel, and also some stuff we can improve. This is one of those where we're trying to see what we can do best for you guys so that you get the absolute best content. I am still working on updating the stream and everything, so just bear with me again just a little bit longer, making sure everything is up to date, running the way that it needs to. Welcome everyone to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in here. Really do appreciate it. It is awesome having the support from you guys. So we will be getting it going here just in a minute or two. Just give me a little bit of time while I'm setting this up, getting everything running smoothly here, hopefully. Utility Sports creates a Madden 22 rebuild for the Denver Broncos, focused on the acquisition of quarterback Deshaun Watson via trade. So, like I just spoiled there, I am trying to go out and get Deshaun Watson. Okay, that is my big goal here for the video, is to get Deshaun Watson to be a Denver Bronco. That is my biggest takeaway. What I want to do here is I want to try and win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson. So there is, of course, some things that could go really well if we do that, and some things that could maybe not pan out as well. Make sure you leave a like on today's video as well if you are enjoying the content that you're seeing at Utility Sports. Of course, this one we're not quite underway yet. Still setting some things up for the stream. Got my Starbucks dropped off. Not sponsored, by the way. But nonetheless, very excited to be bringing this content to you guys. Let me go ahead and change this here to the thumbnail that I want it to be. There it is. Awesome. And then let's go ahead here and update some of the tags and everything real quickly. We are just about 2-3 minutes away from getting going, so bear with me again just a little bit longer. We're working our way there, one step at a time. So we are going to be just a few minutes. Denver Broncos, Deshaun Watson, Madden 22, Madden 22, Madden 22 rebuild, Madden rebuild, Madden 22, Denver Broncos. Broncos rebuild. Madden. Broncos rebuild. Sorry guys, again, just give me a minute or two here trying to set up the tags. Broncos trade for Deshaun Watson. Broncos trade Deshaun Watson. Broncos. Deshaun Watson. Broncos trade. Broncos Madden 22 rebuild. Denver Broncos Deshaun Watson. Again, getting very close here, guys. Just another minute or two. Broncos trade for Deshaun Watson. Now, of course, nothing has actually transpired in real life. The Broncos have not traded for Deshaun Watson. But based off of everything I'm hearing from Miami, it seems like the Dolphins are out on Deshaun Watson at least at this trade deadline. So it makes me think that Deshaun Watson could still possibly end up with the Denver Broncos, which is what is inspiring me to do this. Deshaun Watson, Broncos, Madden 22. All right, Madden 22, Madden rebuild. All right, great. Save the tags there. So everything should be now kind of set up. Let me give it a quick look here in 1 second again. Let me make sure everything is working. Burger Does Sports, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you in here. Very, very excited to be bringing you a Denver Broncos Madden rebuild. Simply because, of course, it is a great time to be doing one of those, especially since you are a big Denver fan, I know. Glad to be bringing you. How about them Nuggets, too? Pretty good so far to start the year, it looks like. So I'm very happy for them as well. All right, it looks like everything is up and running now. So we should be able to actually get going here. Again, thank you guys so much for bearing with me. And now, as you can see here, we're starting in the middle of the season. Starting the league here now. Again, leave a like if you guys are excited for this content on the channel. I myself am very, very excited. We are in week 8 here, taking over as the 3-4 Denver Broncos. Right at the trade deadline. And right now I think it's a perfect time to go right into the NFL roster. See what we have here to work with. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. We also have Drew Lock and Brett Rypien on the squad. Not in love with what we've got here specifically. You know, Bridgewater I think is very serviceable. I think that's the best word for him at this point. Yeah, Burger Does Sports, I agree. I hope MPJ, excuse me, can pick it up because I think he's someone who I thought was going to have a really, really big season with Jamal Murray out. But so far I think he's, struggled a little bit. Part of it is just not hitting his shots. I think he'll definitely turn it around. Melvin Gordon here, of course, Javonte Williams, Mike Boone, Demarie Crockett. I think Melvin Gordon is definitely expendable for us at the trade deadline if we decide. Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Kendall Hinton. We got a really good wide receiver group. Noah Fant as well. We got a lot of pass catchers here. Garrett Bowles, a really good tackle. Dalton Reisner, I like coming out. Cushenberry, I think really, really solid center actually that I think is going to take off here probably in year 3 of his career. Graham Glasgow is a solid guard. And then Bobby Massey, definitely an area we could upgrade over at the right tackle spot. Draymond Jones, Shamar Stephen, Shelby Harris, I like him. Deshaun Harris, Mike Purcell. We need a D-tackle for sure. Von Miller, Stephen Weatherly. I actually made a video about Weatherly getting traded to the Broncos. That's up on the channel if you guys haven't seen it already. Alexander Johnson, very solid linebacker. Could use maybe another one in here, especially with some injuries. Bradley Chubb, of course, out as well. We have a lot of injuries we're dealing with right now. But overall, I think our secondary is elite. So that's really where we're trying to build off of, is seeing what we can do with the rest of this team. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is go into that trade machine here. And we're going to try and get it done. We're going to go to the trade center. And we're going to see what we can do here to bring in no one other than Deshaun Watson. We're going to go straight to the Texans and give them a call and say, hey, what does it take to land Deshaun Watson? Of course, we're going to start with Teddy Bridgewater going out. And we're going to start with our first round pick and see if this is enough to get us anywhere close. Okay, it is not. That is kind of concerning for me. What about 2 firsts and Teddy? Okay, that's still in the yellow. There's no way that they have more interest in Locke, right? Probably not, I wouldn't think. Okay. So Teddy's actually adding quite a bit of value too, which is what's kind of scaring me here, is how do we get there? Do you call me crazy? Do I include Von Miller in a deal? I think I do. Let's see what we can do. And we have him. We got Deshaun Watson. I know it doesn't make sense to trade Von Miller. I know it's not the exact area we wanted to go, but I felt like we weren't going to be able to get Deshaun Watson without including him. And Von Miller's on the last year of his contract. He's 32 years old. I just felt like that's something we had to do. We traded 2 first-round picks and an elite edge rusher. But at this point, it was worth it because we got our franchise quarterback, which is going to bring me back into the trade center here now. And I'm going to shop Teddy Bridgewater. I'm going to see where there's some interest in Teddy B, what we can maybe get for him. Maybe we go back and try and find a team that's really quarterback needy. The Dolphins, that's an interesting one. The Eagles, I don't see that happening. Washington, though, I think does. Not San Francisco, excuse me. Washington here, I think, does make a lot of sense. And let's see if we can go find a pass rusher back from them, actually, because I think that they could be a team that does make some sense for us. They're really, really good up the middle. Montez Sweat. You know, in fact, we talked about getting a D tackle. Can we go get De'Aaron Payne here in this deal? We just brought in De'Aaron Payne. Okay. I know that's a little unrealistic. Welcome to the stream, Amber. Glad to have you in here. That's awesome. It's nice seeing a comment from you. Yeah, Burger Does Sports says, I think Miller could get traded anyway, so not far off. Just not to the Texans realistically, but maybe gets flipped into a second for the Watson. I agree, Burger Does Sports. I do think that's probably the realistic way that they would probably go about doing it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream so far. I know we're just barely getting underway here, but we do have a deal now for De'Aaron Payne. I don't think that's the most realistic deal, but we made it anyway because I felt like we needed a little bit of help along the defensive front. So looking here, Deshaun Watson's our starting quarterback. De'Aaron Payne's in here now. So we got a little bit of help back on the defensive front for us. Shelby Harris is going to be a starting right end. I do think we need an edge now, someone who can actually get after the quarterback. I just don't want to give Stephen Weatherly that much run at that spot. So let's actually go into the trade block here and see if there's anyone out there that could help us. Of course, now since I just started the league, there's not going to be anyone on the trade block, unfortunately. So we're going to have to go and maybe look at upgrade position, see if there's any outside linebackers here for us that makes some sense. We got Khalil Mack. What else do we got? Shaquem Griffin, don't love that. McKinney, not an edge rusher. Taki, no thanks. Shaq Barrett's not going anywhere. Marcus Golden could make some sense, but I don't see them giving him up with J.J. Watt injured. Let's go. Darius Leonard doesn't fit really what we're looking for here. Van Ginkel, don't want that. No, a lot of these are kind of disgusting, honestly. At this point, we just don't really need a lot of this. Caleb Von Chason's interesting for a long-term look. Romeo Aguara is interesting as well. He could be a very nice piece. Son Riddick, he's on a 1-year deal, and the Panthers have fallen to 3 and 4. So maybe we try and make a deal here for Hassan Riddick. Let's see. What could we give up back in this deal? Wide receiver, Tim Patrick. I mean, with Judy injured, it's nice having Tim Patrick. I kind of want to keep our pieces in place for Deshaun. So let's come back out here and let's see if we can give up. I want to give up something, but not a lot. Ronald Darby. I mean, I like our cornerback play a lot, though, too. So it's kind of hard. I don't want to, I maybe have to give up one corner here. Callahan or Fuller. Fuller's on a 1-year deal, I know. Let's look at Callahan. He's 29. I don't know if that's worth it here. How about Oja Moody? I know he's young, but maybe we give up Oja Moody in like a 4th-round pick here. I think that probably would get the deal done in real life, honestly, for a guy on a 1-year deal. And it doesn't even get us anywhere close there. Wow, okay, let's bump this up to a 3rd, maybe include a 5th. Just like Hassan Reddick's on a 1-year deal, so I just find it hard to believe that Carolina wouldn't be interested in moving him. Brandon Stroman says, good trade for Payne. That will make your pass rushers look better. Yeah, for sure. We needed to do that without a doubt. So I'm very glad we were able to get that done. Let's see here if we go in like this. This still doesn't have enough. Maybe we offer that 2nd-round pick. I don't want to give up too many picks. Maybe I go to next year's 2nd and this year's 3rd and see if that's enough to get this done because I do want Hassan Riddick. Oh my gosh, we're so close. You know what? We're moving on from Hassan Riddick. We're going to see if Ojemudia can just flat out land us a pass rusher because At this point, I just don't love the idea of, sitting here and giving up a ton of assets. KJ Wright doesn't fit. Leonard Floyd does, but the Rams wouldn't be giving him up. Justin Houston's not terrible. Oh, man. There's Von Miller in Houston. That's very interesting. Bud Dupree, don't think that's going to be the case. Let's go to the right outside linebacker spot and see if we can find an edge over here. Of course, a lot of these guys aren't necessarily what we're looking for, really. Tryon Shoyinka out here, of course, former first-round pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hasn't gotten to play a ton this year yet, but has looked pretty decent when he has. Jalen Phillips out here hasn't had the most phenomenal season to start. Has 1 sack only. Dante Fowler Jr., I mean, there's no surprise there that he would maybe get moved. Zizo Jalari, very good young player. Josh Allen's interesting, but he's going to be way too much to get to give up for. Trey Flowers is actually kind of interesting. I know he's overpaid, but we're going to actually pull him in just because I think we need some immediate help, and Detroit would definitely be willing to do that for a young cornerback. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Burger Does Sports says, sounds like Fuller's going to get traded this deadline for a 4th to a 5th round pick. Maybe I'll go ahead and make that trade then for some realism. Thanks, Burger Does Sports, for bringing that in, that information in. I'd love to try and make this as realistic as possible. Mostly realistic. I'm doing semi-realistic here just because it's kind of hard to, really keep everything fully realistic, especially in Madden. What team's going to be in on a cornerback this year? I think that Dallas probably makes the most sense here. For a corner because they need a number 2 next to Trayvon Diggs, who's been playing so great this year. Anthony Brown, I'm surprised he's even a 76 overall. That just is not it to me. So let's go ahead and ask for their 4th round pick this year and see if we get that done. We do. So Kyle Fuller's on his way out to Dallas. And we get a really solid draft pick back with the 4th round pick. Burger Does Sports, thanks for bringing it in. Any other guys on this roster right now, Burger, that I should look to trade? For realism's sake, any guys that you think won't be here long term, that'll probably get dealt this year if there's anyone. For the most part, I want to keep the safeties. I like that we brought in De'Ron Payne, or De'Ron Payne, excuse me. Noah Fant, Bowles. For the most part, I like what we do have, honestly, across this roster, especially now with bringing in Deshaun Watson. Maybe I like to go get a tackle. A right tackle could really help us a lot. So let's go ahead, pan through some right tackles in the NFL. See if there's anyone out there that we could get right now that would actually be really, really nice piece. Riley Reef's been playing pretty good this year, surprisingly. Conklin, they're not giving him up. Wirfs is a star. Balaga, Schofield, nah. Not really in love with anything quite yet. Lyle Collins is here. Mitchell Schwartz, maybe. DJ Fluker, Sam Cosmi, they're not giving him up. Brandon Stroman saying Melvin Gordon. Yeah, maybe we could look to trade Melvin Gordon here, actually. That probably makes a lot of sense. Jawan Taylor, he hasn't really played a ton. Penei Sewell's here. Of course, not going to go get him. Trent Brown. We got some really nice players available, maybe. Alejandro Villanueva. Macari makes some sense. Ooh, do we want to go out? Yeah, let's go after Villanueva, I think, as like a small budget improvement. Williams is the future and pick up a change of pace from free agency. Okay, I like that, actually. This is perfect here. We're going to send Melvin Gordon to the Ravens, who I guess have no interest in a running back right now, despite having literally none on their roster, basically. I don't know why they would have no interest. Oh, well, because they're still valuing J.K. Dobbins. Oh, no, he has a complete ACL tear. He's out, so I don't. And Gus Edwards should be considered out as well. So they should have interest in this. So let's go ahead and try and bring in like a 4th round pick for this too here. And then we're going to maybe see if we can even bring back like Tyson Williams or something. Yeah, let's see if we can do this. This is a pretty good deal for us, I think, if it goes through. It does. So we bring in our right tackle. We get a 4th round pick for a running back. And then we also get Tyson Williams. So we have now 2 Williams in the backfield, Javonte and Tyson. Obviously, Javonte going to be the lead player for us. So I think that does make some sense. We get a right tackle. We're just going to go ahead and move Curtis Robinson to the practice squad. I'm not super worried about that. Let's go back into our depth chart quick. Get everything reordered. And then we're going to go ahead and move forward. So Deshaun Watson, our starting quarterback, wearing number 7. I think we're going to have to change that because I do not want him wearing number 7. We're going to have to change Brett Ripien's number so he can be number 4. Javonte Williams, Mike Boone, Tyson Williams. I like this. I really like Mike Boone, actually. He used to play for the Minnesota Vikings. Physical runner. I think he could be a nice change of pace back himself, so we're going to actually leave him as the number 2. Of course, right now we do have some injuries at that wide receiver position, which does make us look a little more thin than we actually are. I want to move Kendall Hinton up a little bit. Former quarterback, emergency QB, if we know what we're talking about here. Cortland Sutton, Fant, very good. I like the O-line a lot more now. Cushenberry, maybe could be a little bit stronger this year up at the center spot. But I do think that Alejandro Villanueva is a pretty significant upgrade, actually, over Bobby Massey. I know he's only 3 overall better, but for reality's sake, I think he's a much better player. Shamar Stephen, do I want him to start over Draymond Jones? No, I'll probably keep Draymond Jones. Shelby Harris, very, very good in the run. Deron Payne, wow, we got a lot better along this team, I think, so far. Here we did bring in Trey Flowers, who's going to be our starting. Oh, actually, he's not going to be our star. Oh, that's right, because yeah, the other edge is out as well. That's right, I forgot about that, because we do have an injury to. His name's slipping my mind. Really good pass rusher, former top 5 overall pick. Everyone knows who I'm talking about except for me right now, because his name has escaped me. So I don't have that quite yet. We are going to start Kenny Young and Baron Browning. I'm actually going to start Baron Browning here because he's a little bit more speed. And I like him as a long-term prospect. Trey Flowers, I'm glad we brought him in. Got a little bit more pass rush. Patrick Surtain's going to be the CB1 now. And Bryce Callahan, of course, going to be our slot god there. That's where he is meant to play. Let's go into free safety. We got Justin Simmons. Strong safety, we got Kareem. Very, very good. Let's go through here. Finish this up. Welcome, everyone, to the stream, by the way. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. Love to have you be a part of what we do here at Utility Sports. We do have a jersey giveaway ongoing currently as well. So if you're interested in winning a Justin Fields jersey for free, Bradley Chubb, thank you guys so much. His name was just eluding me for no reason at all. I don't even know how I couldn't think of Bradley Chubb's name. But that's how it was going. We got Bob and Moyer as our long snapper, of course. Javonte Williams. We're going to make Tyson Williams the number 2 third down back. And then Mike Boone, the backup power back. Perfect like that. Slot wide receiver. Yeah, I like Patrick and Sutton on the outside. This will be where Jerry Jeudy ends up going when he's healthy. Rush left end, we got Weatherly. Rush right end. We're going to take Malik Reed out of this role, and we're going to go to Trey Flowers here. That's why we brought him in to be our lead pass rusher on that side. Shelby Harris, solid here at rush D tackle. Ooh, we need to put Deron Payne in actually here because, Shelby Harris very good as a rush D tackle, but I think that we get a big improvement there. And then, of course, here as well, I'm going to put Baron Browning into as the sub linebacker role because I just want to see him succeed. That's the biggest thing, is I want to see him have a nice start to his career. So the best way to do that is putting him in and giving him some play time early, even though he's not our best player. Good. Callahan's in here. Let's make Nate Harrison the number 2. And then we go through. Here's our practice squad. We got some talent out here. David Moore, very talented wide receiver. Probably should be on an actual NFL roster. And then we just have to go through, make Deshaun Watson number 4. Oh, Burger Does Sports says, start Malik Reed and Flowers. Okay, so no Weatherly. All right, I will do that for you guys just because that is what you want to see. So let's go ahead and make it happen. We're going to go start Malik Reed here at this side of the ball. Perfect. I mean, for the most part, I'm more familiar with Stephen Weatherly than I am Malik Reed, but he is a little bit younger, so it makes sense. I think that's actually a good long-term move for the franchise. I'm hoping to get a few years through here. As well, so it's not just going to be a one and done type situation. We're gonna actually do a few years of this. So nice. Weatherly's going to be our backup on both sides of rush edge. So we got our positions filled now pretty much. We got our team ready. We just have to go change the number of Deshaun Watson so that you guys get to see what he looks like in a Denver Broncos uniform wearing that number 4. So let's go here first to Ripien and take away that number 4 because we do not want to see that ever again on Brett Ripien if Deshaun Watson is a Denver Bronco. We're going to even make him something gross. We're going to make him 89 because I really don't care about Brett Ripien. Deshaun Watson, though, is the guy that I care about. He's only a star? Why is Deshaun Watson only a star development? That doesn't make any sense. We're going to make him number 4. There's the first look at Deshaun Watson, repping that Denver Broncos number 4. Grab your screenshots now if you want them. Former national championship quarterback. Very, very elite offensive player. We're actually going to edit him quickly, too. I'm going to make him a superstar because he's an 88 overall, multiple-time Pro Bowler. If he didn't have off-the-field stuff right now, no one would be saying he's not. Burger Sports says, Reed was the Broncos sack leader last year over Chubb. He's always underrated in Madden. Yeah, no kidding. For a sack leader to be only a 75, that's a little ridiculous, honestly. So that is kind of embarrassing. I know that Stephen Weatherly only has 6 career sacks, so it probably makes sense to be starting Strowman. Yeah, good point there, Burger Sports, with taking a superstar dev. I'm gonna put him. I put him back up just because he's a superstar level player. So I think that's what makes most sense for the actual franchise here. I mean, we traded 2 firsts and Von Miller for him, so hopefully he plays like a superstar. Now let's go ahead and advance this first week. I think we got everything set. So we'll see if we can beat Washington. Here, we are 3-4 at the start of this, and we moved to 3-5. We actually get blown out and only put up 7 points with Deshaun Watson here in his first game. Oh, they did the same thing with Tyreek Hill. Okay, I did not know that. So we have to choose a draft class here. We're going to actually download from Madden Share. We're going to go ahead and get the real draft class in here for this because I think that would be some fun getting to see who some of the rookies. We'll see if this ever loads, though. And that's the one issue with Madden is the game just doesn't work. Burger Does Sports says W. Yeah, we got kind of beat pretty bad here. The community files are having a little bit of trouble loading. So just if you guys have any questions, okay, connection to the server was lost. Lovely. So now I guess they just gave me a random draft class. So I guess we aren't going to get to do what I wanted to do, which makes scouting a little bit more tough, especially with where we're at in the year. But it's okay. We'll get through it. I'm not super concerned. We'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure we don't even need to draft too hard because we got a pretty good team here starting out. Let's go ahead and look at upgrade players here. I'm probably going to not be upgrading a ton of guys myself. I do want to upgrade Jerry Jeudy. It says he's out 3 weeks with the ankle injury, so we probably want to go with route runner a little bit more. That's really what he's most gifted at, so let's keep progressing him in that area. Got some nice upgrades. He looks like a really good player, and he was so good at Alabama that I think he's going to be an elite NFL wide receiver at some point. If he can stay healthy and get more consistent quarterback play in real life, he's going to end up being a really, really good player. So I like. I think my stream here had an issue for a second too, so I'm sorry about that. I'm recording with a new software, so we'll see if this is working or not. We'll have to make a decision after the stream on how good it is. Sung Bassey goes and gets an upgrade. Welcome to the stream, plus 4 awareness. Wow. Cortland Sutton, let's give him a physical upgrade because I want him to be our big outside wide receiver. He's been so good throughout his career so far. Wow, a lot of upgrades there for Cortland Sutton. That's awesome to see. He's only star development as well. Hopefully, if one of our guys has a really good season, we can maybe get that up to a superstar at some point. It's going to be hard, though, because they've already missed half the year or so. We'll see if they're able to get it done or not. We're going to go ahead now and advance the week. 3-5 against the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll see if we can get it done. Of course, we did trade Fuller there, so maybe Fuller gets a pick against us, and we got obliterated. Oh, my goodness, 56-12. What is going on? Very, very odd to me that we got obliterated that much. Let's go ahead here and look at some of the re-signed players now. We do have Kareem Jackson here. I know he's 33 years old, but I did want to hold on to him. I'm going to give him a 1-year deal. I don't see myself sticking with him long-term, but for this year, I think we need him next year. And then maybe we'll look to address the safety position long-term. Bryce Callahan at 29. I know he's a really, really good slot. It's kind of hard, though. And we have a lot of really good players up for free agency. Let's go ahead here with Malik Reed. Let's keep him in. I think this is a very fair deal here. Less than just about $5 million a year. Does make some sense for me to go ahead grab him here at this point. Cortland Sutton. We just talked about how good he is. Do I want to give him $41 million, though? This is about $13 million a year. I mean, we're going to go ahead and offer it. Okay, Cortland Sutton's here to stay. Alexander Johnson. Oh, man. We need some help up the middle of our defense, and Alexander Johnson's really the only guy right now I feel like I can trust. Torn Peck. You know, we're not going to go with Alexander Johnson. I think we're just going to try and keep Josie Jewell around. Oh, man. Let's just go a shorter-term deal, $7.8 million. Okay, we got Josie Jewell sticking around. We kept Malik Reed. Kenny Young. I don't. This is an interesting situation here because, like, we don't have a ton of money now. I don't really want to keep Bryce Callahan, if I'm being honest. I know he's a really good player. He's 29 years old, though. I don't know if I'm in love with keeping Tim Patrick either. Actually, for this price point, I have to keep Tim Patrick. This is like $7 million a year. I had to do it at that price point. That makes too much sense. Our salary cap situation is going to be a little weird. We're going to have to figure out what we want to do with that. But I felt like I had to make some of those moves. So let's go ahead here, advance into next week. We'll see if we can beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We do. We get our first win with Deshaun Watson. We are now 21-19. Let's go ahead and look at the stats. How Deshaun Watson's playing through the first 3 games. Not good. He's shaking off some rust. He's only completing 51% of his passes. 5 interceptions and 3 touchdowns only. Only been sacked twice, so at least we have had pretty solid offensive line play. And the one thing, too, is it looks like Javonte Williams is not having a great season so far either. So we're going to have to figure some things out. Really what we want to do with it. Javonte Williams does have 26 catches now at this point of the year. So that's at least nice. Kenny Young having a good season. 6 tackles for loss. Love to see that. Shelby Harris getting into the backfield doing his thing. We have a pretty good team. We just need to figure out some of the issues that we got going on right now. I think that the first place I want to start is probably going into our staff here and managing our schemes, because Madden has the issue where when you're simming things just don't play well certain ways. So let's go ahead. We're running that 3-4 under, which is what we should be running. West Coast zone run. That makes some sense for this team. I kind of like the idea of switching this up, though, to not a spread offense, but a... we maybe just have to keep the West Coast zone run. Yeah, let's just roll with it. We're gonna try and be realistic about what playbook we do. Bro, Brandon Stroman's saying change the playbook. So I don't know which one you think I should change it to, though. Which one do you want me to change it to? I guess is the biggest thing, because I don't really know which ones are gonna be best for simming and Madden. I know that there is some differences with how they function, and everything. So let me know which one in the comments that you think I should switch to, because that's a pretty important thing here. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Also, I want to know your guys' thoughts on how the Broncos have been this season in general. Do you think that the Broncos have been pretty solid, or what's your thoughts really on them? Because I think that there's some things for both sides where you could look at them and say, maybe they're not having the year that they should be doing. Okay, Brand Stroman says Titans. Is that offensive playbook there? Titans offensive playbook, I'm guessing. Let's go ahead here, see if we can find Tennessee. They're all out of order, too, which I totally love. Tennessee, there it is. I went past it. Okay, and then let's see if we can find a defensive playbook that works. Maybe I just roll with Vrabel's, or Fangio's, excuse me. So Stroman says, as a fan, they have 0 leadership, and that's how we fail. Incredibly disappointing. Yet, there's a lot of talent on this team. Especially, I'm sure you guys are really, really disappointed after the loss to the Browns the other night on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, Burger to Sports says need to beat Steelers and Browns. See, that's what I had kind of thought too, because just based off of where you guys are at, you guys were playing so well to start the season too. You started out so well, and you just kind of haven't, really built off that success as much as I thought you were going to, which is it's just kind of disappointing, honestly, because if you pull out those games against Pittsburgh and Cleveland, you're looking at what, 5-2. At this point of the year, going into week 8, the trade deadline, maybe you really, feel like you're in love with where you're at then. So it's just kind of tough not really being at that spot. Let's go ahead here and continue. We're going to roll with Tennessee's playbook because Brandon Stroman suggested that. And then let's go ahead here, jump. Let's hopefully see. We have 1 week to implement it here for the bye week, so it's perfect time to change the playbook up. It's a big game here. Division's still within reach. If we get this win, we can still make some noise in the division. I'm going to go ahead here. Bradley Chubb, is he back from injury? Oh, he's out 2 more weeks. Okay. Let's go ahead here, give him some more power rush so he's a little bit more well-rounded as a pass rusher. Very good upgrade here for him. He gets +2 tackle awareness and a power move. That's awesome to see. He's only star development too. That's actually a little surprising to me. Let's go ahead, put speed rusher into Malik Reed. Get him a little bit more as well. 2 finesse moves, good. So it's pretty solid here. Cushionberry, I don't really care about Jonas Griffith, his development. Let's go into Cushionberry. Let's give him a little bit more pass protector, because I think that's really going to be kind of where this team needs a little bit more help taken off, is a little bit more interior pass protection. He's star development, which is actually really, really good. And I'm happy to see that, because that's what he should be, in my opinion. So I'm glad that Madden, I think, got that one right. Let's go ahead here, back into negotiations. We got 10 players ready to negotiate. Callahan, Johnson. I'm just not ready to give it to Johnson. He's 29 years old. Kenny Young, I'm not sold on that either. For the most part, I'm just not in love with really what's out here for me at this point. I think that like a lot of these guys we could just maybe go get back in free agency if we need to. I'm going to try prioritizing saving some money if we can. So we're going to go ahead, continue forward here. This is a big game, so let's see if we can get the job done against the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a must-win here for us, I think. We're 5-6. We got the job done 17-13. That is really, really good to see, because we needed to get that win. And I'm very, very happy to see that we got that win, because we badly were in need of some help. Javonte Williams gets an upgrade. That's awesome to see. Let's go ahead and put that into elusive back for him. Try and make him a little bit more well-rounded as a runner. +2 spin move, +1 change of direction. Very nice. He's hidden as well, so we'll get to see what he is. My guess is he's probably coded as a star. And now we also get an upgrade here for Deshaun Watson. So let's go ahead into improviser and just try and get his overall up a little bit. Let's also go look at what abilities the Madden generated for him. Inside Deadeye and Jukebox. I don't think he should have Jukebox. Let's just go with Pocket Deadeye. I mean, yeah, like for the most part, that's good. And then we're going to go ahead and auto upgrade the rest here. I'll let Madden take care of some of the guys who are below 70 overall. It's not my biggest concern. We have some returning from injury here as well now. Harrison, excuse me, he's back. Caden Stearns and Kareem Jackson. So that's good to see Kareem Jackson getting back healthy, coming in at strong safety. That's going to help us hopefully win a few more games. Oh, Sertan has superstar. Javonte has star. Okay, so that's good to know. I'm really glad P2 has, or PS2 has superstar development, because that's what he should be, honestly. And let's go look at Javonte Williams' stats, because I want to see if the new playbook's helping him at all. Still about the same average, but he has put on another touchdown. So I think this will be good for him. I think that this will be kind of the way we want to go. I think we're going to roll with Tennessee, so thank you, Brandon Stroman, for putting that in there for us. Let's go ahead here. This is another must-win game for us. If we win, we could be second in the division, even after a really, really tough start to the simulation here for us. Let's see. Do we beat Kansas City? We do. We actually beat them 21-14, and now we're second in the division, only 2 games out of first, with the Raiders coming up on our schedule here very soon. They're only 3 games from now. We do have a game this week, and then next week against Cincinnati, and then week 16 Raiders, week 17 Chargers. Those could be 2 huge games for us possibly making the postseason. Patrick Surtain, here he is. He has an upgrade. Let's see, do we have his superstar development is revealed to us, so that's awesome. We do have that. Let's go into man-to-man. I think that's huge for Vic Fangio's defense, getting a little bit more man coverage. Also an acceleration upgrade. That's really, really good. If you guys don't play a lot of Madden, you'll learn that acceleration is huge for players. Dalton Reisner, nice. Let's get him up to an 80 overall. Let's go into power. I like that. Brandon Stroman asked, is Judy back yet? That's a great question. Let's go look at that wide receiver room and see if he is healthy or not yet at this point. Let's go into manage roster. Let's go to the depth chart and see if he is playing now, because if he is, that'll be huge for our team. Judy, doesn't look like Judy's back quite yet. Maybe, was he on, they didn't put it, oh, do I have to pull him off of IR? I might have to, actually. That is a great question, because if I had to pull him off IR and I didn't yet at this point, then we're just missing out games. Okay, I can't pull any of these guys off of IR. Gotta love when Madden works the way that it's supposed to, right? Can I pull him off of IR? Remove player from IR. Okay. There we go. So Jerry Jeudy's officially back. Can we get Bassey back? Okay, yep, let's remove him from IR. Nice. Duke Dawson, let's go ahead and bring him back. Yeah, I like Burger to Sports. I know, like the Madden is a little weird about how they like work with everything. Your backup tight end should be. I can't pull him off of IR, so Madden just never has this coded right, honestly. Where like guys can come back from IR, they just have never gotten this right. So it's kind of frustrating here because I can't put Bradley Chubb back in, and I was kind of operating under the idea that I would be able to. Which is a little tough for the season because, he obviously would help us win a lot more games, especially down the stretch here. So I don't think we're going to have him. Let's go ahead here, advance. This should be a must-win against Detroit as well. We need to win this game, and we do. 7-6, or 7-6 now. We are one game back of first in the division. So Deshaun Watson is doing his magic. Burger to Sports says Madden moment. Yeah, no kidding. With the way that they operate, you can count on inconsistency at best. Deshaun Watson has gotten on track since we switched over to Tennessee as well. 4 touchdowns to 0 picks since we made the switch, completing a lot more of his passes. Javonte Williams has been playing really good, up to 5 touchdowns now. So I definitely think that Tennessee was the move. And Jerry Jeudy had no catches his first game back, it looks like, because he had 6 catches, 72 in the debut this year, week 1. I actually have him in my fantasy league. I did a dynasty fantasy league, and he did, really well week 1. I was really hopeful. I do have him in my lineup this week, so I'm hoping he plays well his first week back from injury. I am a little hesitant. Let me know, should I start Jerry Jeudy in fantasy? Because you guys obviously have a little bit closer look at the Broncos each and every week than I do. So, see here, Jerry Jeudy. We just didn't have him in the depth chart. Love that for us. Let's go ahead and put Jeudy here in the slot. Actually, we're gonna make Jeudy our number 1 wide receiver, but we're gonna set him as a slot wideout because I want him getting the most run. I think he's the long-term future for us at that wide receiver spot. So I want him getting the most snaps out of all the wide receivers, and I want him functioning out of the slot because he's obviously best in that area. Which means when he's in the slot in a 3 wide receiver set, say for 11 personnel or 21 personnel. We've got Sutton and Patrick on the outside. So that's kind of what we want anyway there in Denver. So we're back now against the 8-5 Bengals. This is going to be a really, really key game for us. We need to win this one. If we don't, Netane Muti, very, very good guard as well. I hope that we can actually build up with him. Long term, he's a star development, 96 strength. So got a lot of skills to him. That can help us long term, especially in the run game. So now against Cincinnati, we are 1 game back of the division. We need to get a W this week. We'll see if we're able to. Let's go ahead and advance the week. And we do. We win 28-20, and we are now tied for first in the division with the Chiefs and Raiders. Chargers are right on our tail as well. If we win this week, we might be able to take sole lead of the AFC West, which is obviously the goal here for us at this point, is to try and go win the AFC West, see if we can get the job done there with Deshaun Watson as our starting quarterback, because once you get into the playoffs, anything is possible. Once you get in, any team can win. Burger to Sports says depends, but I would. Was Teddy's main target alongside Sutton. Just disappointing that Fant hasn't gotten enough opportunities. Yeah, I need to look at Fant's numbers on the year a little bit more. Just, I've watched some Broncos games and everything this year. But it is a little hard to keep up without a little bit of preparation. Oh, so Burger Does Sports says I would start Jeudy. Yeah, that's kind of what I had assumed you had meant there. I think that he should be the number 1 starter for us, just because I like Sutton and everything, but he's a little bit older. It really doesn't matter if they're too much if they're 1-2, because I'm sure we have a lot of sets with 2 wide receivers. Albert O, love him. So now let's go ahead. Let's go look at the stats one more time, see how we're doing. We've had a lot of close wins down the stretch here. Deshaun Watson definitely picked up his play. Did not throw another interception again this past week. Threw 1 more touchdown. Only been sacked 4 times too. Javonte Williams is racking up a lot of yards, which I like to see. I'm hoping that we can get him a lot of progression this season. Noah Fant, he's been having a pretty good year since we started simming at least, so there's that. Kendall Hinton. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. Okay, so he had 4 catches, about 55 yards this past week. We also do have some staff points. So I'm actually going to go ahead and spend some of these because I do want to look at this as like a long-term thing where we can kind of improve our team a little bit throughout the weeks and everything. So we're already going for the defense here. Increase XP gains. That's interesting. We could also just try and improve some of these areas. I don't love that though. Let's go ahead here and we're going to go into some of the player upgrades just because I want us to get a little bit more XP across the board, especially cornerback's a good one for us with Patrick Surtain. So we're going to get a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and try and get scheme fit upgrades as soon as we can as well. Let's go ahead here now. We're going to advance against Las Vegas. Both teams 8-6. This could be for the lead of the division. So let's go ahead, advance the week. We need to win this game. We need to beat Las Vegas in Vegas. And we don't get it done. The Chiefs lost as well, so we would have been in sole first place of the division, like where the Raiders are currently sitting. The division's not over, though. We have this week against the Chargers and next week against the Chiefs. 2 wins could get us into the playoffs. We still have a chance. I don't love that we lost, though. That's a tough loss to see. Deron Payne has an upgrade. Glad to see that. Let's go ahead here into run stopper. Get a little bit better in that area at least. +2 tackle. Good. And Kenny Young. We don't even have him back under contract. Let's just go ahead into field general here. Pretty good upgrade for Kenny Young. Maybe I'll keep Kenny Young around too. Him and Josie Jewell will be the starting linebackers for us. Let's go ahead here. We're going to advance now against Los Angeles. This is a must-win. I feel like I've been saying it, but starting out with as poor as we did, we needed it. And we got it. Big win, actually, here. We won by 2 scores. It's a 3-way tie again for the division lead. If the Raiders lose this week and we beat Kansas City, we should win the AFC West and make it to the playoffs, which is where we want to be. Once we get in the playoffs, I think we can beat anybody, honestly, with the roster that we have. Of course, it hurts not having Von Miller, that I had to give him up for Deshaun. But I don't think we would be where we are right now without Deshaun Watson, honestly. So it kind of sucked that I had to do that. But to get where we are right now, I had to make that move. +1 acceleration there for Javonte Williams. Really, really good. He's got a really good player card. That's a lot of green across the board. So I like what we have with him. Cushenberry, let's go ahead here into Agile, get him a little bit more accustomed to getting up into that second level, hopefully. A little bit more finesse pass rush, pass blocking, and run blocking. He's a well-rounded center for his age. I think he's going to really progress nicely. And Noah Fant here as well. Let's go into vertical threat, because I think that's really what we need. Judy's so good underneath as a short route runner. And Burger Sports still says, still don't get why the Rams traded Young for that cheap. Yeah, I'm surprised by that as well. I am very, very shocked, honestly, with that. I think that I do want to give Kenny Young a contract at this point. I think that actually does make the most sense for us. We're going to go ahead and look through here. Bryce Callahan, he's 87 overall, but he's going to regress. I just don't know if I love that for us. Kenny Young, I'm for sure going to bring back now, just kind of based off of what I'm seeing. It's not a bad contract for Kenny Young, so we're going to go ahead and do this here, just over a little bit over $11 million, and he's staying for 2 more years at least, so that's good. Let's go ahead here, keep Stephen Weatherly for 1 more season as well. I don't want him on a 2-year, but let's go ahead and mark him in for 1 more year. He's 27 years old, so that'll work well until he's 28 and starts to regress here on Madden. And I think he's a nice rotational pass rusher in case we have injuries that he needs to fill in for. Okay, now this is the must-win game. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at our stats again. Kansas City Chiefs. If we lose this game, we're out of the playoffs. So we need to win. Deshaun Watson, a little up and down the last couple of weeks, thrown 4 touchdowns, 3 picks the last 2 weeks. Javonte Williams, though, is up around 1,000 yards. I think he's going to do big things if he's our full-time starter next season. So that's what we're going to plan on. Cortland Sutton's up over 1,000. Jerry Jeudy's up over 200 now as well. So that's good. We got some balance back into our offense. Running the football well, throwing the football pretty well. Looking at the defense, Kenny Young is having a year. I'm really glad, actually, that I locked into giving him that contract because I think that's going to be one that ages pretty well for us, especially if he gets a development trait with how well he's played this season. Burger Sports says Callahan's probably going to leave, and it'll be Surtain, Darby on outside, and Oja Moody in slot, if I had to guess, next year. Well, perfect. We'll plan on doing that then next season for us. We'll try and keep this realistic. This is to the wild card. We need to win here against Kansas City, the final game of the season. Let's go ahead here, hit advance, and we'll find out, did we control our own destiny? We did. We made the playoffs with a 24-21 win, and it looks like we actually made it as a wild card. The Raiders must have made it too. And does that mean that the Chiefs missed the playoffs? Let's go ahead here. That is a phenomenal feel-good situation here for this franchise already. We knocked the Kansas City Chiefs out of the playoffs completely. They didn't even make it. Broncos, we made it in. Raiders did end up winning the division, so we are the top wild card in the AFC at 10-7. Cowboys ended up finishing really, really well as well, so I guess trading them Fuller was maybe not the best thing if we go up against them in the Super Bowl, but I think we could get the job done. I'm confident in us. I think we can beat Buffalo here. In Buffalo, I think we can get it done. I'm a believer. Kerry Vincent Jr., I like him. He's got some good speed out of LSU. He's a nice slot cornerback himself. If we end up needing to go that direction, if Oja Moody gets hurt at some point, definitely something that we could make happen. Give me 1 second here. I'm just adjusting a little bit for the stream. All right, great. Here we are now. Let's go ahead and try and make this work. Let's go ahead now here. We're looking at this. We can also take a look here at the end of the season stats, I guess, which is pretty valuable for our team. So Deshaun Watson still ended up getting over 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, 89 passer rating. That's going to be better next season. I'm very, very confident that that will be better. Mike Boone ended up stealing 6 touchdowns away from Javonte Williams this year. But all around, a pretty good season for the team. Cortland Sutton over 1,100 yards. Jerry Jeudy up almost 300 in only 5 games. So that's something that we can hang our head on. Dalton Reisner had a very good season. Graham Glasgow. I want to get Moody playing a little bit. Villanueva was really, really good for us too. I'm glad that we made the trade for him this year. Let's see, what else can we go ahead and do here at this point? Let's go back into our franchise staff and make a decision here at this juncture about what we want to do. Let's go back into Vic Fangio's talent tree. I want to keep him as our coach, I think. Let's go ahead here. Final piece. Yeah, let's go ahead and make scheme fits so that we get a little bit more progression each and every week for each player. Excuse me, guys. I am just having a little bit of difficulties here, too, with kind of the setup here. I am in a different location recording this, so it's a little bit different for me. I'm trying to figure it out. I got a green screen behind me, so it's a little complicated. But here we are now going up against Buffalo. We know what they have. Josh Allen, of course. Let's see. Can we get the win here? We lose by 6 points. So that is the end of our season here. It's a little tough to see. I don't love that. Kind of a tough end to the year for us. We do have some upgrades. We're going to go ahead and auto-upgrade these. I don't really care too much. Maybe I should have upgraded Draymond Jones myself, but I think the CPU will do a fine job. Let's go ahead here, sim to the Super Bowl. Now, just because I don't think there's anything too pressing for us to address. Let's go look at view yearly awards as well. So Dallas versus Buffalo. We actually lost by 6 to the team representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Unfortunate, we could not get that W. Of course, don't really have anyone in the MVP discussion at this point of the year. Vic Fangio did finish 5th in Coach of the Year, though. So that's good. Patrick Mahomes won Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC and didn't even make the playoffs because of us. That's the one thing we're going to hang our hat on this year, at least, is we knocked the Kansas City Chiefs out of the playoffs in Week 18. So that's very awesome. It's still so weird saying Week 18. Javonte Williams finished 4th in Offensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC voting. And defensively, Patrick Surtain II finished 7th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. All around, a pretty good season for us. Jamar Chase, of course, he's up there. He's such a beast in real life. Did we have anyone in here? My guess is no. Okay, so and McManus actually finished second in best kicker. It would have been nice to get him that hardware this year. Let's go ahead and look back into stats. Let's do an actual real look this time. So we know what Watson did. We know about Javonte. We did the offense. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a look at the defense specifically is what I want to focus on. Kenny Young finished with 126 tackles. I think Draymond Jones actually led our team in tackles for loss with 10. Biggest issue is we just didn't have someone getting really after the quarterback. Malik Reed here leads the team in sacks again this season and had 60 tackles, so actually a really productive year. He had 2 interceptions too. Wow. Led our team in interceptions as well. I think the biggest issue is we just didn't get after the quarterback enough this year, and having Bradley Chubb back is going to help with that. I didn't realize I was not going to be able to take him off the IR when I made the trade, including Von Miller, because I was like, oh, we're just going to find a different edge rusher. Burger Does Sports says Vic Fangio and top 5 coach the others comedy. Yeah, his time probably is running out in Denver. I kind of want to know what you guys think about that. Do you think he'll be there long term in Denver or not? Because there's, of course, going to be a little bit of rumors around him if he's going to be able to stick there or not. Bryce Callahan did have a defensive touchdown. McManus, pretty good season for McManus. 18 of 19 kicking, 38 of 40 on extra points. Could be a little bit better there. Sam Martin punts very, very well, of course. We know that. Punt and return, nothing really notable on the return. So there's our kind of stats this year. I think that there is some room for improvement for this team as well. We do have negative 22 million. So let's go ahead here, advance the week, see who wins the Super Bowl. Did Fuller get a ring? And he did. The Dallas Cowboys are your Super Bowl champions, won by 17 points. Dak Prescott was Super Bowl MVP. Tom Brady won MVP of the league. Mike McCarthy, Coach of the Year. Micah Parsons, D-Roy. We have Trevor Lawrence winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. So some very exciting stuff for sure in that regard. Looking at this here, it's a little tough too with the Broncos just because, our salary cap situation is a little tough. I'm going to go ahead here, manage roster. We can't really do a lot right now anyway. We only have about $13 million. And we don't have our first round pick now either, which makes this a little tough. There's staff moves here. I don't think anything super pressing's probably happened, especially head coach spot. Kyle Shanahan gets fired. That is actually a really, really big surprise. And then hired as the 49ers head coach after Joe Judge gets fired. So Shanahan did not stay fired long, ended up landing with the New York Giants. Burger Does Sports says no, hoping for Brian Dable and either Watson or worst case a rookie. Yeah, that makes sense. One thing that scares me about Brian Dable right now is maybe Mitch Trubisky ends up as your quarterback. Of course, he's the backup there behind Josh Allen in Buffalo. Dable, I think, really smart guy. I would maybe look at Joe Brady too. I think Joe Brady could, really unlock Denver, especially when it comes to Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I think those two guys would be really, really well off playing under Joe Brady as their head coach. His rise to head coach status would be really, really fast, but I think he's just such a good football mind, especially offensively, that if you get him a nice veteran defensive coordinator, someone who's been calling plays for a long time, the two of them can have a lot of success pretty early on in the NFL. Let's go ahead here, sim to the next week. We are, of course, now in the off season, and we've got some decisions to make. I think that maybe we look to offload a contractor too as well. Here's a mock draft as well for this class, so we'll see who they end up having who take. Of course, we did make a trade with the Texans. They have them going with left end. The Texans have our other pick this year as well, so let's see who they have the Texans taking. They have them taking a safety. So, I mean, for the most part, I'm pretty content with what we were able to get out of the deal for Deshaun. There's only going to be so many guys that are Deshaun Watson level from the draft, and I just don't think we were going to find one with where we're picking. Deshaun Watson is going to be a superstar for us for quite some time. So I think we made the right decision. Let's go ahead here into the... we still don't have Trade Center available to us. Let's go ahead to negotiations. We do have to bring some guys back. Callahan's here. He's regressed to an 86. Had a little bit of a drop-off. I do have interest in keeping Tyson Williams around as a third running back for us. Probably second running back, actually. Him and Mike Boone go back and forth a little bit. See, this is why I'm glad I didn't keep Alexander Johnson. He regressed quite a bit. I'm not in love with the idea of keeping a lot of these guys. Kendall Hinton, though. Kendall Hinton's not bad. We can just find a speed wide receiver in the draft, though, if we need one. I'm motivated to not really keep a lot of these guys around and try and save some money instead. Like, a lot of these guys are very, very replaceable to me. Shamar Stephen, I'm just not in love with what we should really be looking to keep around here. Mike Ford, we got nice young corners. We got Tyson Williams back. I'm good with moving forward with what we've got because I just am not in love with the idea of trying to bring something else in. So let's go ahead and advance next week. Get into the point where we are in free agency, and I want to go make a trade to open up some money. We have $11 million in cap space right now, and I want more. I want more cap space. We're going to go into let's go first take a look at our team salaries and maybe like deem who we think we can move on from specifically, because I'm sure that there is someone in here that is making a little bit more money than they should. Garrett Bowles at $21 million. I mean, that's a lot of money for... Oh, we're going to go make a trade. We're going to go trade Trey Flowers for sure. That's on me, bringing him in. We definitely needed the help this year. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have even made the move for him because it just ended up not aging very well. Alejandro Villanueva at $6 million. We're probably going to trade Villanueva and Flowers. The reason I made those moves, though, is because I thought we needed the help short term this year. So I know that I'm going now, and I'm going to have to try trading those players. But, at this point, I had felt like we needed to improve in those areas. So, even though it's not the best overall, looking at it where we traded for a guy and then ended up moving on from him fairly quickly, we did need the short-term help. So I do think that we did a good job in that regard, at least. Let's go ahead here. I'm going to trade him to the Jets if I can because I'm a Jets fan, and I think that's funny trading Trey Flowers there. Let's see what we could get from them. Maybe a younger player. Wouldn't mind a little bit of help along the offensive line if we could get it. I don't love what's out here, though, from the Jets, of course. There's not a lot of talent, usually, for my New York Jets. Linebacker, I'm okay. Quincy Williams, makes some sense. Bryce Hall, 6'1". It's not really a need, though, at this point with Patrick Surtain and kind of what we have there. So I probably won't do that. I'm probably just going to try and get like a third-round pick here in this deal. And just try and move forward from that. Okay, very close. Let's go ahead and attach another player here. Savion Smith. Let's go ahead and send him to New York. They don't even have any interest in him. Lovely. Let's go ahead and attach. I don't want to trade Jackson. So Russell Wilson's supposedly ahead of schedule here as well, which is interesting. Let's go to the tight end spot. Don't want to give up Albert O. Natane Moody, and not interested in giving him up. Miners I like. You know what? I'm cool with just sending Villanueva here in this deal for that third round pick and getting it done. We freed up a lot of money here. We're up to $34 million in cap. I think that's probably all we need this offseason because I'm not really interested in spending a ton of money. I do think that we need a little bit of money, though, to make some moves. And you let me know now, what should I go out and get in free agency with what's out here? Of course, the big name is Davante Adams. I don't know if that's really realistic for the Denver Broncos to go do. Marlon Mack, don't love that. Jason Verrett, he's a little old. Carlton Davis, though. The issue is where this free agency class is strong, which I did know this, that it was strong at wide receiver and cornerback, is the areas we don't really need a ton of help. Teron Armstead could be interesting. We kick, Teron over to right tackle. That's a little weird, though, because both Bowles and Armstead are really, solidified at that left tackle position. So, we'd be really good along the offensive line if we did that. We do need some help at linebacker. Kenny Young did go up to star development, though, like I was talking about. So maybe we aren't in as much of need at that spot as I kind of had originally thought. We do need another edge, though. Melvin Ingram. Yeah, we don't love that. D-tackle, we're fine there. Golston, we're good. We're really strong across the defensive front. Maybe a safety who's a little bit younger. That could make some sense, but there's not really one of those out here that I'm in love with at this point. That I think, hey, this is for sure like a long-term upgrade for us over Kareem Jackson even. Wouldn't be opposed to getting another halfback. Yo, welcome to the stream, everyone. Glad to have you in here. Okay, so Burger Does Sports wants to check middle linebackers. Yeah, let's spend a little bit more time looking at that spot. Donta Hightower's out here. Alexander Johnson, who we decided not to keep. Devondre Campbell, he's been playing really good this year in real life. Chris Barnes is out here too. He's a star at 24 years old. And he doesn't even want that much money. Oh, man. I think that Chris Barnes is the one that makes the most sense. Austin wants me to sign Jameis. Probably not happening, Austin. Let's go ahead here. I'm going to go ahead and sign Chris Barnes. I think that this is really good value for a linebacker. 76 overall, 24 years old. Star development. This is something I think that we got to do. 99 points. Puts us in the lead on him. So I think that should be enough to get Chris Barnes, hopefully. Based off of who we have at corner. So now the question is, do we want to bring Bryce Callahan back for 1 year? Or do we think that we're fine with what we have? We have our two boundary corners in Surtain and Darby. Campbell and Barnes. Okay, so Burger Does Sports wants to go with two linebackers, Campbell and Barnes. What do we do with Kenny Young? Do we just... I kind of want to play Kenny Young again. Let's look at Devondre Campbell here. 6 years player. Oh, he's really good at tackling, though. Man, with our defensive line play, I know he doesn't block shed well. Last year he had 87 tackles, 69 stops. Nice. Oh, yeah, you're right. He makes too much sense. We're going to go ahead and bring him in. I'm going to go on a short-term deal for him, though. And I'm going to just pay him a little bit more because we have the money to do that. I'm going to offer him 1 year like $9 million, which is an overpay for sure at the linebacker spot. But we're going to do that here because I don't want to lock in long-term because I see Chris Barnes and Kenny Young being the long-term linebackers, if that makes sense. But we're going to go ahead here and do that because these are our two starters this year. And then Kenny Young has another year to develop a little bit with that star development. And then we go ahead and build off of that going into next season. And I also think... JPP, Van Der Esch is out here. Don't love that. I don't really love what else is out here unless... I wish there was a strong edge in this class. Like someone who could really come in and be an elite edge for us. I do kind of like the idea of bringing in Derek Barnett, though, on a 1 year deal because he's young. Maybe we get some development out of him. I'm going to go ahead and offer him 1 year, $7.5 million. In worst case, he just doesn't sign and we don't have to worry about it. Oh, okay, so Burger Does Sports says, should have said or. That's all right. We're going to make the move. I'm fine with it. Worst case, maybe we find a trade partner at the deadline and bring in another. Let's go ahead here to... I don't really I do think that this is having issues here for a second too, so I do apologize if my camera cut out for a second. Wide receiver, I think we're so strong at wideout that we don't really need to do anything here. Maybe just bring in a depth guy. DJ Chark's out here. Traquan Smith. Deontay Harris. We're going to go ahead here, sign Deontay Harris to a 3-year deal. No, he's a return man. I don't love that as much. You know what, we're going to get in on DJ Chark just because I think there's value here at that wide receiver spot. And for less than $7 million a year, I'm all in on that. In worst case, we don't get him, we don't get him. So... let's go ahead here. I'm going to end up shutting this off here for a second and back on. Let's see. Okay, did not work. Here, give me 1 second, guys. Apologies for the lack of connection here for a second. I'm trying to get it back working because it's having some issues. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen now. So let's see if that is fully working. Mostert, okay, so Mostert is what else we're thinking. Let me go into that running back spot. I guess getting another running back wouldn't be a bad situation. Just having a nice backup guy behind Javonte. So Javonte Williams is currently a 78 overall. So I'm actually going to look at someone lower just so it doesn't mess up the depth chart. Sony Michel's here. Tariq Cohen. Okay, I'm actually going to go with Cordell Patterson because he's also going to be our kick return guy. And he's having a really good year in real life. Let's go with... And we're running the Tennessee offense, which is kind of funny. Because Madden probably has it coded like Arthur Smith's offense. So this should be enough here to get Cordell Patterson. And he's low enough overall where he won't actually challenge Javonte Williams for the starting spot if I sim. Which is the biggest thing, so I just don't want to have to worry about the wrong guys playing each and every week. So let's go ahead and advance here, see who we get in free agency and if we miss out on anyone. Okay, wow. We actually lost out on Chris Barnes. He signed somewhere else. So it's good that we did go after Devondre Campbell because we did need help at that linebacker spot and we got it. Derek Burnett actually comes in as well. Very good. Chark did not want to sign with us, but we do get Cordell Patterson. So we still have about $14 million. Let's go into free agency. I'm down to spend the $14 million if we have to as well. Casey Hayward's out here. Gronk. Let me go look at the fullback spot, actually. You know what? This is going to be a little bit of an aggressive move, but I'm going to go get Patrick Ricard. I'm going to value that fullback spot for us right now because with Tennessee's playbook, there should be a little bit of actual run for that fullback spot. So I'm going to pay him pretty well, pretty handsomely for a fullback. Wow, it's actually pretty close here. So I'm actually going to maybe even pay him a little bit more just because I want to make sure I get him. I know this is an overpay for a fullback, but this way I for sure get it done. And he's a massive upgrade over what we've been playing. And Burger Does Sports wants Younghoe Koo. We can make that happen. Let's go ahead and do that. He's going to be an upgrade for sure long term. So let's go ahead here into a 5-year deal on him because this is not that bad for someone who's young, star development at kicker. And let's make sure we do have a punter. We still do have Sam Martin under contract. You know what? We're going to really focus on just going all out on the less valued positions, punter, kicker, and fullback. We're going to bring in the best guys we can. Then we're going to try and figure out what we do with the others that we have. Sam Martin and, of course, McManus, who actually had a really good year. Just weren't able to, really have anything work out for him. We need a right tackle yet, too. I haven't really looked at that, have I? So we do get all three of those guys. Let's go back into free agency. We also have to choose our private workouts this week, so maybe that'll be really good finding some depth as well. Let's go ahead here. Callahan's still out here. Looks like he might go to Seattle, though. Casey Hayward's going to go to the Steelers, probably. Gronk to the Bengals. Interesting. Antonio Brown maybe to Detroit. Okay, let's see. What does left tackle have? Okung. Yeah, not in love with that. Osemele. Oh, boy. Riley Reef. We're kind of not in a pretty spot here. Let's go ahead. We're going to bring in Riley Reef. I really don't like this. He's had a fair share of struggles throughout his career. We don't even have the salary cap to make this work. So let's go ahead and pull this down pretty significantly. We're just going to offer this. Worst case, he doesn't take it. We have to figure out our right tackle spot some other way. So we're going to go ahead here, advance now through this week. We do have 56 players on our roster. Oh, I didn't even scout. So hopefully that they scouted somebody for us. That could have been very, very helpful. We lost connection to the EA servers as well. So gotta love Madden. Okay, so Burger Does Sports says draft right tackle and D-line. Probably what we're going to have to do. Most definitely what we're going to have to do, actually. Just like thinking about it. We do need some help there in that regard for sure. Welcome everyone to the stream too that is watching. Glad to have you guys tuning in. We do really appreciate the support. Let's go back in here with our Utility Sports owner. We do have some other Madden rebuilds up on the channel too, so if you haven't checked those out, go do so. We have a Raiders one, a Green Bay Packers one with Jordan Love as the center point. So there is some really, really good stuff that you guys should definitely go check out. Let's go into our managed roster now and go move on from our punter and kicker situation. Fullback, we do have Ricard, which is good. Kicker, we got to cut McManus. Okay, we're going to incur a penalty here cutting him. I don't love that, but at the same time, I mean, we just got a lot better at kicker, so it makes sense. And Sam Martin, we actually did improve quite a bit here over Sam Martin, who I think is a good kicker in real life, but freeing up $2.5 million in cap space. Very valuable for us here. Free agency recap. We'll see, were we able to get our right tackle? We weren't. So Derek Burnett is in here, though, now. And I'm going to move him to an outside linebacker. I don't know if I love that, but we need one more outside linebacker, and I think he's athletic enough to make it work. Whereas like the other guys on our edge spots just aren't. Shelby Harris is not. He's barely more athletic than Shelby Harris in the game, which, I mean, I think he should be more athletic than that. Let's go ahead. We're gonna try moving him to outside linebacker and see at least what his overall does. We can always just move him back to that right end spot. So let's go ahead here, put him at left outside linebacker. So he's a 75 there. I mean, he is still an upgrade over Stephen Weatherly for sure as a pass rusher and in the run game. So we're a little bit stronger now. Brandon Stroman, welcome back to the stream. So we did make some nice moves as well, Stroman, for free agency. If you want to see those real quickly, let's go take a look at them. Younghoe Koo, Patrick Ricard, Jack Fox. We brought them in, got better on special teams, got better at the fullback spot. A lot better at that fullback spot. Devondre Campbell is our new starting middle linebacker. Brought him in on a one-year deal worth about $9 million. Derek Barnett on a one-year, $7.5 million deal. Cordell Patterson to be our backup running back and kick returner as well. So we got better at some of the more niche positions in the NFL. Of course, not really, a star wideout or anything flashy like that. We do badly need to find a tackle for sure at this point, but our team is better going into this year. So we're going to go ahead. Let's take a look at scouting real quick too, because I want to see if they have anyone with a high percentage for us or not. Okay, so a defensive tackle here, Sean Odom. He looks actually really, really good. Wow, he ran very, very well for a D tackle. Very, very strong as well. So Sean Odom looks like a beast. I don't think we're going to be able to get him, unfortunately. He's ranked 11th in the draft. Let's see, what else could we get? Brian Casas. So they spent a lot of time looking at D tackles. He looks really, really good as well. Not quite as athletic, but very, very good, especially in the run game, it looks like. Oh, and offers some power moves, too, as a pass rusher, so that's nice. I'm just looking for the 80% guys, if they scouted anyone else for us, really. There's Casas again, Steven Duvall. So they spent a lot of time at D tackle this year for us, I guess, looking at the D tackle spot, which is good because we do need a little bit of help there. So hopefully they were able to find some nice steals in the later rounds because, of course, we do not have our first-round pick. I don't plan on moving back up for it either. So let's go ahead here. We're going to advance into the NFL draft. We're going to get going. We're going to see what our team looks like for year 2. Let's go ahead and start drafting now. And let's skip ahead to the next user pick. Of course, we don't really know too much about what's going to be on the board. We haven't spent a ton of time scouting, unfortunately, just with how the year started. We started in the middle point of the season, where we're at in real life in week 8. So that, makes a sense why we haven't really spent as much time scouting. For wide receiver here, we're going to look for someone who has speed if we look at a wide receiver. I think that's really one of the only things missing. Derek Newman here, 70% scouted, speed rusher. Very, very good athletically. Has elite speed, in my opinion, at 4.60 flat. I do need to pause the draft as well. But he's really raw, Derek Newkirk is. So I don't really see that being the way that we go. I need to pause this here as well because it's just a little fast here for my liking. Especially when we haven't really prepped for the draft as well as I would have maybe liked to. Let's go ahead to that D tackle spot because I'm actually really interested in trying to find some nice players there. We do have some good ones out here, but they're not projected to go in the second round. Dwayne Chambers, I mean, A stamina, but he's not going to be a good player here. Shantavius Rivers. I'm just not blown away with what I'm seeing here so far at the D tackle spot. Power rusher Michael Moody. Almost had a Kendrick Perkins moment with the Moses Moody. This guy looks pretty good. He's got A play rec. C awareness only, though. So that's going to hurt a little bit. But I think Michael Moody's someone we're going to want to come back to at that D tackle spot for sure. I think he could have some nice value for us. Let's go back into that right end position as well. So we looked at Newkirk already. How about Harbor? Could Harbor be pretty good? B power move, so he's got some upside. Not as athletic, but I think a more well-rounded player currently in terms of what his actual skill set is. Steven Robinson. 6'4", he's 23 years old already. Doesn't have an elite athleticism. Just a well-rounded player. Probably going to be helpful in the run game. I think what we need is someone who's really going to get after the quarterback. Let's look at Naji Howard here out of Arizona State. Pretty good speed. Off the edge. I'm not sure if I'm in love with that, though. Let's go look at the left end spot, and then we're going to go over to right tackle. Maybe we take a blind pick on a right tackle here, too. I don't know if I'm in love with a lot of the stuff we're seeing here on the board so far. We could look at Darrell Dunn. He's a first-round level running back, possibly. Pretty good speed. I know we signed Cordell Patterson, but maybe that could make some sense being a long-term backup for us. Cornerback position. I mean, there's a lot of guys here who are just round 3 to 4 projections. The nice thing is about us running a 3-4 is maybe I just take a whole bunch of stabs along the defensive line. Currently, especially with me not sure. Left outside linebacker, good point here, Berger. Let's go take a look here. Darryl Fowler. We don't have a lot scouted. He's only 40% scouted. 4.6 speed, though. Pretty quick. Skill set's not really there, though, unfortunately. Let's go to the next guy, Tyrell McKinney, excuse me. Really, really good speed, 4.57. We don't know too much about these guys, though, which is what scares me, because it's very likely I'd take a bust if we don't have a good idea on what they could be. Lamar Giles doesn't really have very good athleticism. A man coverage at left outside linebacker, though. That's a little intriguing. Let's go over to the right outside linebacker spot. Maybe there's a good pass rusher over on this side. Cordell Riley. Pretty good speed, good athleticism. Again, not the most developed player, though. He's not a finished product, which I know we don't necessarily need to take one here at this point. Jacob Ray looks like he could be a really good middle linebacker if we moved him. That's what I'm actually going to do. I'm taking Jacob Ray here. He's hidden development, 87 speed, 90 acceleration. Very, very good grab in the second round. I know he's not going to be a pass rusher for us. But based off of what I was seeing, I thought he was going to be the best player. He's going to play some middle linebacker down the road. Give him a year to develop probably. And then we'll go from there, figure out what we really have with him. We're on the clock here now. Let's go ahead, see if we can go back. Maybe find an edge rusher now at this point. Darrell Dunn's still out here. I mean, I do have interest in that. But at the same time, I feel like he could be a big bust if we take him this early. Or at this point of the draft, just because we don't really know what he is. Let's look at Jeremy Burnett as well. Maybe there's a nice linebacker out here. Not very athletic. Not in love with that selection. You know what? I think we go along the right end position. Or maybe the left end spot. I mean, Enrique Benjamin. The issue is we just don't really know that much about these guys. It's just hard to really value a selection here. I'm really happy about how Ray turned out, though. I think Ray's going to be a beast for us. John Carter, I just don't love that. You know, David Harbour. I'm trying to figure out if David Harbour is the guy I want to go with here. B power moves, decent athleticism, not great, decent play rec. Naji Howard, I know I was pretty decent on. I don't know if I love any of this. Let's go here. You know, I like Moody. I know it says he's a day 3 guy. But he's 21 years old, not that athletic, but he's just a good player to me. I think we take Michael Moody here. He's a normal 88 strength, 80 excel. So that's a pretty rare combination for a 21-year-old D tackle. I know he's a little small at 6'1" only, but he is 307 pounds, so he has all the weight to him. And I think he's going to be a solid player for us. Unfortunately, not hidden, but we do get a little bit of help. And in the 3-4, if he's that athletic with 80 acceleration, maybe we can kick him to an edge or a right end, left end spot in the run game, kind of like what Shelby Harris is for us. I know he's not as athletic as Shelby Harris, but I still do think that there is some value with that. Let's go here now. Darrell Dunn's out here. I am interested in pulling the trigger on that. Let's also look at the wide receivers. Maybe find someone with some speed. Victor Sherman. I don't think that he's going to have the most speed, just looking at him as a player. Robert Thomas. 4.49. Don't love that. I want someone who's sub 4.4 if we take one right here. 4.49 again for Gregory. This class is a little up and down, honestly. Doesn't look like the most athletic class in the world. It's 4.44 for Brown. Benjamin Boulware, that's a pretty awesome name. I wouldn't mind bringing him into the squad. 4.35. This is who we're going to take. We're going to take Benjamin Boulware. I think that he has really, really good athleticism. 95 speed at wide receiver. He might play some halfback for us. Honestly, I love 93 agility. His change of direction's not elite. His carrying's a D, so that's a little concerning. He might play some pass catch halfback for us. You know, Javonte Williams is capable, but Benjamin Boulware, I mean, watch out for him come camp time. He might get put in a role. Cordell Patterson might not last long here in Denver. I'm just gonna give that warning right now. Maybe Cordell Patterson plays a little bit of wide receiver for us. Darrell Dunn still out here as well. What was his 40 time again? 4.42. Ah, man, I you know what, with B break tackle, I think it's pretty solid time to maybe take him if we just didn't take a pass. A pass catching running back sort of as a wide receiver. Ben Samuel. I mean, I'm also down to start taking some stabs along the offensive line. Ben Samuel, I don't think makes the most sense here. Let's go look at the left tackle spot and see if we can maybe kick one over. Britton Randall, Ohio State, tends to have some elite offensive linemen. A stamina, run block power is not there. We need some help though. I'm kind of motivated to just take some stabs along the offensive line. 80 acceleration, 87 strength, not bad. Could be worse for sure, but I also think that's probably going to be one where we look back at and say, ugh, maybe not the best that we could have done at that spot. Burgada Sports says, sheesh. Probably talking about the 95 speed, I hope. Hopefully I didn't make a terrible selection. Let's go ahead here, look at the next one. Victor Sherman's still out here. Darrell Dunn's still out here. If Darrell Dunn's there in the 5th round, I'm taking him. I decided that. Left tackle. I want to look for someone who has some real strength. Bart Cox out here. Let's see what he's got. What are you made of? D-awareness. Probably doesn't seem like an elite. But he's got pretty good speed. He's agile. Bart Cox. He's an NDSU product, which is always fun. Anthony Smith here. Another day 3 guy. Nah, not in love with that. Let's go ahead. Back to the left tackle spot. See if maybe we just take another stab over here and see if maybe we get one guy to pan out for us. He's strong, but he's not going to be nearly as mobile, which is kind of scary to me. About the 95 speed. Yeah, the 95 speed's insane. I can't believe we found someone with 95 speed. I wish his acceleration was a little bit better because he'd be insane. Let me know, do you think we should play him at halfback or at wide receiver? Because I'm not fully sure what I want to do. I do like John Rivers here. I'm actually going to take John Rivers at this spot. 87 strength again. Actually a little bit faster with 72 speed. Not quite the acceleration. But I think that he could actually be pretty nice. Was pretty good at run blocking. And if we're going to run that Tennessee playbook, I want to get a tackle who can run block. In worst case, maybe he kicks into guard if his pass blocking is not really there. Let's go ahead to our next pick here. This is the last pick of the 4th round. We also have the first pick of the 5th round here. So, like I said, if Dunn is still here, I'm taking him with the very next pick. Cordell Riley. What is he supposed to be? Is he a pass rusher? 6'5", 256. He's got good speed. Oh, man. I know his traits, his skill set's not there, but I'm going to take him. 83 speed, 90 acceleration at outside linebacker. If he's a pass rusher, of course, we don't really know what his moves are. He has C power moves. That's a really valuable pick. 6'5", 21 years of age. I like that a lot at outside linebacker. And then here, of course, we're going to come back and take that halfback I want. Just because he's been sitting out there. He's got pretty good speed. And I think he could be another nice player to add into the backfield. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 84 change of direction. You know, I'm glad I didn't take him earlier. That's for sure. He's only a normal, but he's 21 years old. We're trying to get some depth on this team. And I think that's what we've been able to do for sure here. I also want to look at taking another player along the defensive front. Wide receiver with Hamler and packages and Dunn at second running back would be fun. Yes, I love that a lot. Okay, so that's awesome. So yeah, play the 95 speed guy at wide receiver. Okay, great. Dunn at second. Yeah, I like that. We'll try and get Hamler in a little bit more because he hasn't gotten a lot of play time so far. And maybe with me drafting him, maybe we'll look to trade Tim Patrick just because I'm not sure what the real room for him is. Sherman was terrible. I don't want Sherman. Let's go back. Let's look at the left end spot maybe. See if there's someone here. Vincent Fry, 24 years old. This is the Chris Duarte of the NFL draft. Very, very old player. I mean, I'm not looking for a 3-year veteran at this point in this round, so probably not going to take him. D tackle, there's some guys out here. Kevin Rivers, a run stopper. Not in love, really, with what I'm seeing. He's actually pretty rough as a player. Let's go look at Justin Townsend. Maybe he's a little bit better B tackling at least. He's slow, though. It's hard to motivate myself on a pick like that. Especially when, maybe I could look for, a pass rush outside linebacker. Daryl Finley, excuse me. Pretty strong. Not the fastest player in the world. B blockshed, though, which makes me think maybe we could play him along that edge position at some point. With my picks here, I think I'm going to take some stabs at the outside linebacker spot just because I want to possibly find a guy who can play along the defensive front in the future. So I like Finley here, and I might even trade out the next pick just to next year so I get another weapon. Burger Does Sports, I'm glad you're in here too. I appreciate you tuning into the stream. I know it's something different than what we normally do. Just trying to find out other things to do on the channel for fun. We've really started hitting on college football. I'm going to trade with the Texans here. They're probably terrible. So let's go ahead and get that pick. And then, yeah, so we're just trying some different stuff. See really what we can do on the channel that viewers enjoy. I'm going to trade down again here. I don't think we need to take too many players. I don't want to overfill our roster currently. I want to keep some of the flexibility. We're going to trade with Kansas City here. They can move up here and hopefully lose to us again in Week 18 next year. That would be awesome. So let's skip ahead here to the end of the draft. So now we'll get to figure out what overall our players are. I'm really interested to see what our first couple picks were, especially for overall. My guess is, based off of what I know from scouting, is that there's not going to be a lot of really good overall players that we were able to pull. But Ray was 73. For a second round pick, that's really good, especially since he's hidden. He's listed as a speed rusher, actually, which is surprising to me. I thought he was going to play middle linebacker. He's got 68 finesse moves, 87 speed, 90 acceleration as an edge. Now that is very interesting. I was looking at him. I mean, I still think he'd be really good as a middle linebacker. Because, like an inside linebacker, because you're looking, he's got the speed to play it. He's got really good tackle. Pursuit's there. Awareness is there. His zone coverage is rough. Block shedding solid. Maybe we play him at that edge position so he can get some pass rush opportunities. Benjamin Boulware. I love Boulware as a player for us. Overall, our draft was not the best. I mean, this is kind of what I expected. We didn't really spend too much time scouting. Looking at all rounds here, who was the best player in the class? Stephen Duvall was an 80 overall. Wow, that is insane. Let's look at him. He's only normal development, though, but 95 strength coming in, 78 speed at D tackle. That is a deadly combination. Chester King, a second-round linebacker, ended up being hidden himself. Yeah, he's really good. Look at him. Wow. Gerald Golson, he looks pretty good. Jawan Hargrave. I mean, for the most part, I think we did the best we could, really, with what was on the board for us. And there wasn't a lot out here. It's kind of a weaker class. The first overall pick was a wide receiver, 75 overall. Yeah, I think we did good. A lot of these guys here so far. It looks like there's... Josh Sherman was a really good center, I guess. Let's take a look at him. He's hidden center even. Wow. Josh Sherman was really good. But not much we can really do about that. We didn't really look at the center spot too closely. We don't need one either. We have a star. So KJ Hamler's back. Let's go ahead here, advance the week into preseason week 1. And let's go ahead and make some decisions with the roster. I think we're going to start here by trading away Tim Patrick, just based off of what we have at wide receiver. I want KJ Hamler to play a little bit more. And I think that Tim Patrick's the guy that doesn't really make sense to keep around. Yeah, look at him. He's 28 years old. I think now is the time to maximize the trade feature for him. Oh, that's strong safety to the Texans. Yeah, the mocks are kind of insane, honestly. They seem to be accurate fairly consistently. Maybe we can get a right tackle for Patrick. I'm not sure who's realistic. I don't want to trade with the Chargers. I don't want Tim Patrick to score on us later in the year. Lane Johnson could be interesting. He's older. The Eagles badly need a wide receiver, it says. I mean, this trade makes sense for both sides. If we throw in something here, well, maybe we don't even have to. Okay, they need to give up more salary as well. So that's actually a problem. They actually drafted a right tackle too, so maybe this does make some sense. They have to give up more money, which is a problem here because I don't know who we take in that's costing them a lot of money. That's not going to be adding a ton of trade value to the deal. Brandon Brooks, could we do it? Oh, and we don't have the money now. Okay, it looks like a deal with the Eagles just isn't going to work, unfortunately, just based off of the money. Lyle Collins, you know, the Cowboys, what do they have at wide receiver? Do they need one? They have Amari CD. They need a number 3 really badly. Cedric Wilson's not going to get the job done there. Lyle Collins, I don't know if it's the most realistic, but oh, again, we're having issues with the salary cap here. We need someone who's a little bit cheaper than $10 million. Let's go back here through. McGlinchey won't work. Solder's contract is terrible. Villanueva, Penei Sewell. I mean, I would love to get Sewell. I don't think that's really realistic. Trent Brown, maybe? Get him, come in. Okay, we need to offload $1 million. So let's go here to the quarterback spot. You know what? I decided we don't need Tyson Williams or Mike Boone. We're going to send them both to... Oh, we can't send them both. Okay, we're just sending Tyson Williams. Okay, they don't have any interest in making that deal, which is kind of surprising to me. Teron Armstead's here. Rob Havenstein. I mean, I don't love that. Man, I like getting a tackle. Brian O'Neill. There we go. This is the deal I want to make. We have to take a little bit of money back from them. We have to take $530,000. So let's go ahead and let's just go get their worst player because I don't want to take in any value here from them and make a deal not happen. So let's go through here to the bottom and just take in someone a little bit better, hopefully. Rod Byron. Let's go bring in another young right tackle from him. All right, so we just have that deal go straight through. Brian O'Neill is now our starting right tackle, which is a massive improvement over what we had. We actually bring in a backup too in Rod Byron. We weren't able to get it done, getting one in the draft. It's just one of those things where, you know, the players just didn't pan out really the way I was hoping they would, especially at that left tackle position, the ones we drafted. Let's go take a look at them a little bit closer too. I mean, they're not bad players, especially Rivers here. He's got really good athleticism, but they're just not ready, if we're going to be honest with it. It's just they're not that level of player quite yet. And I don't want to hold back our offensive line too much just by one weak link. So I think Brian O'Neill making that move makes a lot of sense. It opens up the wide receiver spot for KJ Hamler to get a little bit more run. We're going to actually release David Moore. I know I talked about him being a good player and that I like him. Sounds accurate with Peyton's promo. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, George Patton always loves to go get Vikings. So it's perfect him bringing in Brian O'Neill. Actually, I didn't even think about that when I made that move. But the reason I ended up making that release just now was because I wanted Benjamin Boulware to get a little bit more run this year at that wide receiver spot. 95 speed. He's very, very athletic. And we've got some nice players in the backfield here, too. I'm going to actually go and release Rodney Smith. Former Golden Gopher. Put on a ton of yards for that university. And we're going to release Mike Boone, too. We're getting rid of some of the other Minnesota products. George Patton, we're not letting him have everybody from Minnesota. This is going to be our backfield this year. Darrell Dunn. You know, I like what Darrell Dunn brings. I think that's a pretty solid player for us. So we kind of got our roster set a little bit. We're going to have to make some cuts. But for the most part, with where we're at, I'm pretty happy. Let's go ahead and advance this week. See where we're at in this upcoming. We win week 1. That's awesome to see. Let's go ahead here. Get into the regular season. I just want to sim to the point where I cut some players. I'm not going to assign our scouts. I'm just going to let them do it for the most part. Let's see what we have, I guess. Maybe we fire the D-tackle scout. Yeah, let's go ahead. Fire Suzanne Price. Let's go ahead now into the free agent scouts. So we need a tier 3. Do we... Maybe a safety makes some sense. Wide receiver, D-tackle, quarterback. I don't think we need to look at quarterback. Maybe... Oh, he's a... Tier 2. I don't want to hire a Tier 2 guy. Faneca. Let's go ahead and bring in Ted Wilkerson. This is fine by me. Because maybe we'll address that scouting position. Mr. Black wants to know, does Vaughn get traded in real life? I don't see him getting traded just with where the organization's at. I think that Vic Fangio is going to fight pretty hard on trading Von Miller because, you know, if he loses a lot of games down the stretch, he maybe gets fired. So I think he's going to have real pushback on trading Von Miller. Now, I think that they should probably really explore that avenue just because they need to get some value for him while he's still there, in my estimation. But it's hard when you're trading a player that's been that good for your franchise to really find something that makes a lot of sense for everyone involved. Let's go ahead and put Rico Gaffer. We're going to cut him. Britton Randall, I want to keep him around. We're going to move Sternad. Let's go ahead. Look at quarterback spot. We're good. Halfback spot. We're good. Fullback, fine. Good at wide receiver now. We got our 2 tight ends. Left tackle's fine. Left guard is fine. Okay, we're good across the O-line. Left end, we're good. Marquise Spencer, we're going to move him to the practice squad. D-tackle, we are good here. Michael Moody, you know, I think Moody's going to be a solid player for us long term. Mitzi can get released for sure. Actually, no, we're going to go ahead and cut Weatherly. I want to get a little bit younger. We're going to keep the youth. Finley there. Middle linebacker, we do have a few. We're going to hold what we've got there, though. Jacob Ray, Malik Reed, Jonathan Cooper. I'm going to move Cooper to the practice squad. Cornerback, we've got 4 only, so a little thin there, but it's okay. We do have to cut one more player. It's going to be PJ Locke here. We're just going to go ahead and release him. Tough cuts for us, but I think that's what we had to do. Mr. Black says, is he a long-term part of your franchise? That's a great question here. Let me pull up the roster so you can see. Because actually the first thing I did was trade Von Miller in a deal to get Deshaun Watson. I wanted Watson to be in Denver for this rebuild. That's the decision I made. It was tough having to give up Von Miller in that, but I did end up trading him to get a deal done. So that's what I decided we had to do. This is kind of where we're looking right now. Let's go ahead over to right outside linebacker, and I'm gonna move Ray over to left outside linebacker because I want him to get a little bit more playtime this year. I think he's actually gonna maybe be our starter. I'm just gonna force him into the role and hope he develops because ultimately I think his upside's there where he becomes a really nice player for us. So we're gonna actually move Derek Barnett back into end. Which I think makes sense anyway based off of his athletic traits. Oh, but Burger does for us. That's funny. He just said move Ray to left outside linebacker and start him over Barnett. That's actually hilarious because that's what I was in the process of doing as you said that. So that's awesome. Left end here. So yeah, we got Barnett and Draymond Jones on that side. Shelby Harris there. So we're really good now across the defensive front. And in my opinion, the front 7 I think is really strong. Middle linebacker play this year is going to be really good. I feel. I'm actually interested in maybe trying to trade Josie Jewell as well, just because I don't want him to be starting in the 3-4 in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and try trading him away. Let's go ahead to Josie Jewell and see if we can, is there any teams with real interest in Josie Jewell? Otherwise, we're just going to make a quick decision on where to send him, preferably to the NFC. We're going to trade him to Seattle. They have a big need for him, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and try and ask for a second-round pick for him. And so, I mean, pretty high value. Let's go ahead here, throw in someone else along with. Let's go ahead, throw in our 4th, and then maybe we can ask for a cornerback back as well from Seattle, because I would like to get at least one back. LaRon Good, is he's not hidden, is he? No, he's not. He's a young corner, though. I'm going to go ahead and ask for him. Okay, they're not willing to give him up at all, which I guess maybe makes some sense. Travarius Ward, DJ Reed. Let's just go get Trey Brown back in this deal. I'm not too concerned. Okay, they want a little bit more. Just throw our 7th round pick in here. Does this get the job done? No, it does not, because they are being stingy. Mr. Black says, I've really enjoyed your mocks. That's awesome. Glad to hear that you've been enjoying them. It's been a lot of fun coming out with them, honestly, too. You know, it's quite a bit of work each week, but we do really enjoy it. Yeah, Burger Sports says Ray's number 18. I know, the position numbers look so weird. He's rocking that Peyton Manning number, so we're going to let him rock it because he's our guy. First draft pick in the franchise. We're going to let him rock the Peyton Manning number. I think he's definitely deserved it, right? We got some really good upgrades here as well, it looks like. So we're going to let the CPU do them. I trust that they're going to do the right thing. Mr. Black, I'm glad you've enjoyed the mocks. Who are you a fan of, by the way? I don't know if you've specifically commented which team you're a fan of. I know that Burger Does Sports is a big Broncos fan. And I try and keep track of who likes who on our channel when they're commenting and everything. So let me know who you are a big fan of. And here we are now, week 1 of the actual season. Let's go ahead and set our depth chart quickly and see if we can figure out what we are going to have going on this year. Darrell Dunn, should I include him? I'm going to make Darrell Dunn the number 2 halfback, honestly, and try and force some progression there. Jerry Jeudy I'm going to have as the 1 wide receiver again. Boulware's out here, good. Tight end, we've got that set up pretty good. Bowles at left tackle, Reisner, Cushenberry, Glasgow, and O'Neal. What a solid offensive line that is. We're going to be really good in the trenches, that is for sure. I have no concerns about that. We're going to make Derek Burnett the backup at both sides, so he gets a little bit more run this year. Just because I think he was a pretty solid addition for depth at least. Okay, so Mr. Black is a Chiefs fan. You want them to get Devin Lloyd in the draft. Yeah, I mean, Devin Lloyd's a nice player for sure. They need some help on defense right now. They've had a very, very tough year, honestly, with where they should be. In my opinion, they could definitely be producing a little bit more. I mean, we know what they are. They're a Super Bowl level team. They're just not playing like it right now. So I'm sure you've been a little frustrated with their play this year. But I wouldn't worry too much. I think that they're going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit of patience, honestly, for them to be what you need them to be. We're going to actually start Kerry Vincent Jr. here out of the slot. I like his speed. We maybe do need to find a cornerback here for this team because we are a little thin at that point. Cordell Patterson is here as our kick returner. Boulware. I mean, do we want Cordell Patterson return? Yeah, I want Cordell Patterson returning. I don't want him punt returning, though. He doesn't really do that. We're going to make Boulware the punt returner. Kickoff specialist, great. Reisner, good. Cordell Patterson. I don't want Cordell being the 3rd down back. I mean, it makes some sense, but at the same time, I really don't want him getting a ton of carries. I want that to be more so Javonte and Darrell Dunn this year. I want Jeudy still to be the slot wideout 1. I just think that makes the most sense. We'll have Hamler be the slot wideout 2, so he gets some more run this year. Rushing left end, we're going to have Chubb. I'm good with that. Rushing right end, we are going to make this Jacob Ray because I want him to get a little bit more run this year. Shelby Harris. Let's go ahead and put Draymond Jones in here instead. And then Devondre Campbell, Kenny Young, great. Jacob Ray, sub linebacker, maybe could be interesting too. Keep him on the field in other ways. Slot corner, we're going to actually play Jamar Johnson there, Indiana product. And then we're back to the quarterback spot. So we are kind of set now. Let's go ahead here and continue through this year. So there's going to be hopefully a lot of winning. Let's go ahead here, advance the first week. Oh, I don't want to play. Whoops. Let's go ahead, advance. Can we beat the Cleveland Browns at home here at Denver? I think we're good enough to beat a lot of teams. And we are. We start out 1-0, a 10-point win here. That's awesome to get things started off for our team this year. Everyone in the division went 1-0 week 1. So that is lovely. I'm really, really psyched to see that. Totally not being sarcastic at all. We do have some upgrades. That's right. We're going to advance here. Again, versus the Chargers here. This is a must win. Early on, set the tone for the season. Did we get it done? We did. 2-0. We have a 2-0 start to the season. Much better so far than our first couple weeks we simmed last year. Where this year we're actually winning some games, which is very exciting. Cortland Sutton has an upgrade. I think our offensive line is so much better. We're going to see Deshaun Watson here hit 90 overall. Someone grab a screenshot of that for me. Deshaun Watson looking awesome in that Denver orange. He's a beast. So it's good we made that move for him. Starting things off good for us. Brian O'Neill. Let's get him a pass protector upgrade. He's really good at pass protection in real life. Doesn't give up very many sacks. So I'm surprised there's only a 76 rating there. All around a very, very good player in my estimation. Jacob Ray. Let's get him a speed rush upgrade. I hope that he can become someone who's really, really dominant in the game. I think he has the traits that you're looking for in an elite pass rusher, and also just an elite player in general. He has the speed, has the athleticism, can make plays, very good tackler, and actually was a much better pass rusher than I was expecting him to be off rip coming in. Cortland Sutton has an upgrade here. Let's go ahead, throw it into physical. He's up to an 86 overall. That's awesome to see. +2 short route running for him. And we're going to go into Cushionberry here too. We're going to go ahead and make him a little bit more agile. Again, help him get up to that second level. He's been developing pretty well for us. So I'm glad that we do have him as a staple in our offensive line. And then we're going to go ahead here and auto upgrade the rest. And we got mock draft 1 already. I'm not going to go ahead and look at that though. Let's go ahead here and advance actually to next week against Seattle here. I think this is a winnable game for us. Let's start out 3-0. Let's see it. We do start out 3-0, a 35-14 win. We're actually the only team undefeated now in our division. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats at this point in the season. Deshaun Watson having a pretty good year. 7 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, completing 71% of his balls, 116 passer rating. I talked about that needing to be a lot better than the 89 he posted last season, and so far he is performing. Javonte Williams having a pretty decent year, 200 rush yards through the first 3 games. Already broke 5 tackles. Darrell Dunn stole a touchdown as well. Does have a fumble though, so we're going to have to monitor that. If he keeps fumbling, we're going to end up moving Cordell Patterson up into the actual running back 2 spot. KJ Hamler paying off. He has 6 catches for 102. Boulware does have his first career catch as well, 1 catch for 8. So we're seeing some pretty good usage here across the receiving core. Who gave up the sack? Garrett Bowles did. Okay, that's fine. He's playing left tackle. That's a tough position to play. Jacob Ray, I mean, he has a sack already in his young career. That's good to see. A couple interceptions, too, for our team at this point. Patrick Surtain and Devondre Campbell. So very, very pleased to see that. We do have 60 staff points as well. So let's go ahead, put that into our team and upgrade, make some upgrades here for the squad, because we have a few players that are ready to get bumped up. Benjamin Boulware being one of them. That's great to see already that he's gotten a development progression. And then let's go into managed staff, franchise staff here, and make a few more improvements for the team. I'm looking at the talent tree here. Let's go ahead here and go into versatility's key. We're going to help Jacob Ray get a little bit more upgrade. And then we're going to go into this side here, and we're going to boost block shedding. And then we're going to also boost pursuit here. So at this point, I am going to actually conclude the stream here. Not because of how anything's going. I think it's been a lot of fun so far. I just do have plans tonight. It's actually my sister's birthday this week, so we're actually going out to dinner to celebrate. So I hope you guys do understand. I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Have enjoyed it. We're going to come back to this. We're going to continue it with a V2, okay? So there's going to be a second version here that you guys are going to get to enjoy. So don't worry. We're coming back at some point very soon. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. Remember, subscribe if you're new. That way you have a chance at winning that awesome Justin Fields jersey for the Chicago Bears. And we'll catch you guys in the very next Utility